discovered, well, I don't know if it's a discovery,
but
but
before
before
I
I
was,
was,
kind of
kind of
going
going
center
center
inside
inside
to,
to,
but then I
but then I
realized
realized
I don't know
I don't
that
know that
inside
inside
is
is
a
a
reality, right?
reality, right?
I
I
imagine
imagine
that
that
awareness or
awareness or
consciousness
consciousness
is
is
everywhere,
everywhere,
and
and
maybe we make
maybe
a
we make a
mistake
mistake
by
by
imagining
imagining
it's like
it's like
located
located
somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So
So
in my
in my
practice, I've
practice,
been
I've been
more
more
open to
open to
just
just
an
an
open
open
expanse and
expanse
not
and not
limiting
limiting
to the
to the
body,
body, you know.
Uh,
Uh,
and I've been
and I've
trying to
been trying
carry
to
that
carry
with
that
me
with
as I
me as I
go
go
through the
through the
day and like
day
the
and like the
waking
waking
state and
state
so
and so
forth. And
forth. And
it's
it's
I don't
Yes.
know. I
I don't
feel
know.
like
I
I'm
feel like
onto
I'm onto
something,
something,
and
and
it
it
keeps
keeps
capturing me. I
capturing me.
can't
I
really
can't really
focus. It's
focus.
kind of
It's kind of
all
all
encompassing.
encompassing. I've been
Trying. That's
trying.
all I
That's
can
all I
really
can really
focus on.
focus
I
on.
mean, I do
I mean,
my
I
day
do
to
my day
day,
to
but
day, but it's
I'm trying
I'm
to
trying to
approach it
approach it
from a
from a
different
different
place.
place.
And
And
I can't
I
say.
can't
I
Yes.
say.
mean,
I
I
mean,
think
I
either
think
you're
either
awake,
you're awake,
maybe, or you're
maybe, or
not.
you're
But
not.
I do
But I
feel
do
like
feel like
I'm on the
I'm
right
on the right
path,
path,
anyways. If
anyways.
there is
If
a
there is
path.
a path.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
All
know,
these
all
words
these
we
words
use,
we
but I
use, but I
understand.
understand.
Yeah, in the beginning, we have to say it is a path, and then what happens at the ultimate realization, it becomes pathless. Path. So that is how we use these phrases and languages: pathless path, choiceless awareness. Now you see that I am conscious, hence I'm conscious. I don't say I'm conscious only. I'm conscious, hence I'm consciousness. That remains as it is without any boundary, limitations, duality, conflict. When I say I am conscious of you, this I is a mixture of the real I and the false I. The false I has to work in transactional world. Why I brought up this when you said yes, whether I imagine or I think that I am of the nature of infinite, all pervading consciousness. So, this statement comes from the mixture. And the real I is a witness, it is still present, it is always present. Take another example. I'm conscious, so I'm consciousness. Clear. I'm conscious of honey. I'm conscious of pain. I'm conscious of pleasure. I'm conscious of duality. Oh, it's the mixture. So the entire journey in the Gita is to separate this mixture. So when you separate this mixture, what happens? When you say, I'm conscious of you, what it means? I have limited myself at the physical and the mental level, and I have also limited you. This ignorance must go while using the same language of I-ness in the transactional world. It is something like wave says, I'm a wave. Come on, where are you, water? But how does it say? One question, and how dare the wave says that, come on, where are you, water? Where are you, water? You are made up of the water. You are asking me, where are you? No, I have to find you. Okay, you have to find me. So, what exactly is the process of understanding that intellect should go inside go inside, it drops all the names and the forms, and ultimately it drops its own name in the form as a wave. What is left? It is already water. That is why I say it is a mixture. You see, that is why I say it is a mixture. I am conscious, hence I am consciousness. That is very clear. But what happens, our mind in ignorance and delusion overlaps, imagines and thinks and thinks and thinks. Where is it? Where it is? No, you have not to go outside, you have to go inside. What does it mean by inside? Inside means you are dropping the entire world of delusion of name in the form. That is our 29th verse from the microcosmic standpoint. That is what we are studying. Micro in Gita. What the Master says, the seeker perceives the consciousness in all beings. What it means, the consciousness is all pervading. That Satchitanand, that absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss is all pervading. I perceive the unity in diversity. What is diversity? There are millions of waves. One water. There are millions of people, billions of people, one consciousness. Millions of billions of people, one consciousness. So here comes the intellectual understanding of a metaphor. Sunlight is one. That sunlight reflects on 10 different mirrors, reflected light at different places. Now, when the sun is reflecting into the mirror, I see the sun in the mirror. That reflected sun in the mirror is an individual entity. That is what we say, I am an individual. Because that individual has to have his name in the form. So when I see the reflected sun, that is what the ignorance is. That is how I see that 8 billion people. Where are the 8 billion people? You are looking from the standpoint of the mirror. You are looking at the standpoint of a 10 buckets full of water, and the sun is reflecting there. And you will say, oh, the sun is present in all the 10 buckets, then which one is the real one? No. You have to move inside. You have to have a right perception. What is the way of a right perception? Move in. That is the language we use. You move inside. So that move inside, that means that you are now, your awareness is pointed towards the sun. You leave all the name in the form. And when you leave all the name in the form, you find that unitary consciousness in all beings. Then what happens? You have an equal vision towards all. But how it is possible? I have understood intellectually, no, it will not happen. Unless the mind continues to repeat. Mind learns by repetition. Contemplation and reflection is another means of repetition into the mind. That is why we say there is a big gap between the theory and the practice. There is no theory and there is no practice in Eastern wisdom. It is there in the science. So we say no. I have to repeat. Mind recognizes and realizes by repeat listening and learning, repeat contemplation and reflection, repeat daily analysis that how many times I was into anxiety, duality and ignorance, and then returning again for a repeat practice to recognize and realize. Intellect understands by logic. Intellect understands by the cause and effect. Oh, no, I have understood the real self, but I don't experience. No, repeat it. That is why we say don't break the practice. Don't leave the practice. Now, why we are repeating this and why we are learning these principles to attend to the enlightened consciousness, to transcend the limited ego based perception, to realize the fundamental oneness, to develop universal consciousness. So the mind is habituated, it is individualized. When it is individualized, you have a delusion, you have a duality, you have a conflict, you have a superimposition. So the Master is saying in the 29th verse, through deep meditation with knowledge, deep meditation with the knowledge. You are sitting, you see that you are saying Om Namah Shivaya. Mind says, yes, I have understood Om Namah Shivaya. The Shiva lives in the Himalayas. You have already created a duality. But yes, in the beginning it is required. Or regularly it is required. Why it is required? Repeat listening and learning is required. So now gradually what happens, now that Om Namah Shivaya is inside me as an image. It may be inside my heart, it may be inside my head, it's okay. That is the second level. Now the third level, Om Namah Shivaya, it is beyond the name and the form, it is beyond the image. That wave started recognizing without name and the form, I exist. I was so much attached to this name and the form, and I said that I exist because of the body, because of the waking, dream, sleep state. Now, I still exist. What is all this? Now this Om Namah Shivaya is a consciousness plus pure consciousness, or real self plus the mind, plus the cosmic mind. That is known as the Ishwar. That is the real Shiva. That is what our most of the teachers who teaches the law of attraction. That law, that is Om Namah Shivaya is inside. Now I want to compare the two things. One thing, since our childhood, the moment we both were born, we both are man. So as a boy, we were born. Society, parents, school, education, religion, all heavily conditioned my subconscious mind that you are a boy, you are a man. Now when I wake up in the morning, I need not to repeat it, that I'm a man. I know. Finished. What I know? I know in the consciousness. Why I gave this example? So when you are repeating the practice, now Om Namah Shivaya, you need not to repeat it. It is all is He. All is Shiva. All is Shiva. Yes. At that third level. So that is why we have to repeat. But repeat consciously, repeat with the knowledge, repeat with an understanding. And then what happens, you look at the honey, you don't say. The way you don't say that I'm a man. Come on. I'm the proof that I'm a man. That is the importance of the practice. That is also the importance of understanding. Then only I see clearly the water in all the waves. That is how I see so that is why I gave that practice to you. Don't leave that practice anytime. That is our 29th verse, like seeing the same gold in different ornaments. Now I bring that metaphor to a realization, to a conscious experience. To a conscious experience. And where is the conflict? No, you are my honey and I'm separate than you. So the separate is an individual individuality. That individuality is the false I, and the false I struggles. False I claims that you are my soulmate, and false I, the same false I claims at different time, you are my soulmate. The false I claims that I marry to be happy, and the false I claims that I divorce to be happy. False I says that eating pasta is the best food that I have taken in my life, but you keep on eating for 10 days. On the 11th day, the same false I says, I don't like it. So, why this has happened? Because of the delusion. But what is that delusion here? We have created a duality and a division. And that duality and a division multiplies at the physical level and also at the individual, at the mental level. But beyond that mental level, like man, you don't have any duality, you don't have any conflict. I'm a man. But why? How it happened? Because your mind was fed by the parents, by the siblings, by the society, by the culture, by the religion. Come on, this means the man. So you have a non-verbal awareness. So now we have a non-verbal awareness that Om Namah Shivaya is all pervading. So because we cannot reach directly, we cannot move inside directly, so we have an indirect approach. Shiva image, Shiva does this and all this. That is what our journey is taking the shape at a very subtler level. The verse number 30th is just the opposite. It is at the macro level, not the micro level. So now we understand from the standpoint of water. What do we understand from the standpoint of the water? You have 10 waves, and water weighs, say, 5 liter. Now, in that 5 liter of water, you have 10 waves. Is there any increase and decrease in the weight of the water having those waves? No. You have 1 ounce of gold, and 1 ounce of gold is converted into earring, necklace, etc., etc. Does the weight of the gold decreases or increases? No. It remains the same. Oh, so there is only one existence. Yes, there is only one existence. Oh, there is only one existence. Come on. Only one supreme consciousness. So can I say it supreme consciousness? Yes, you say it anything. You say it supreme consciousness, you say it Shiva, you say it Krishna, or whatever, you say it Guru, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. It is one consciousness. No, but question is, I see the wave. There is no doubt about it. I see the earring. Oh, we say you see the wave. Before that, there was no wave. After that, there will be no wave. What is constantly changing, taking different name and the form, is the false. It is causing the delusion. Water in the mirage. Oh, that is causing a delusion. So, I am one pure consciousness everywhere. Answer is yes. No, but so the master takes up this waves, earring or necklace and a gold the same way. He takes this subject at a different time. He says first you recognize the macro. There is one consciousness. So it means what? I see that, perceive that consciousness everywhere. Intellectually, I understand, but I don't see through the mind. You have a recognition and realization. You see that consciousness is everywhere. So I remember my master used to give us a beautiful metaphor and example. You bring the lion in front of the mirror and jumps out, because lion consciousness means unevolved or lower consciousness or animal consciousness recognizes this lion is different. So that I have seen on the Discovery Channel, that lion goes behind the mirror to find out where is the lion. For us, it is our image. We take it casually. But why I said so, what is the difference between the two states of the consciousness? It's a hell of difference. It's a hell of difference. You can't conceive it. But why I said this? Master used to say laughingly, that is the difference between your consciousness at this time with the consciousness of an awakened. The teacher is constantly saying that consciousness is all pervading, but mind says okay. Mind says okay, but I fall into delusion. Do you see the difference between a bird? Bird also fights with the bird in the image. Lion also fights. Lion wants to see, oh, is the lion behind the mirror? So same way this deluded mind wants to see where is the real self. Oh, let me see behind this mirror. Let me see like this. Let me see. No, you sit down. Move inside. Move inside. Did you understand that metaphor? The difference difference between a human consciousness and the consciousness of a lion is a hell of difference. Because I'm totally relaxed and calm. Come on, this is my image. Lion, come here. And next time he comes here, again he fights. He becomes alert. But the human, come on, we laugh. We laugh at the if I say use the word foolishness of a lion. So the master uses all the means available to the intellect, metaphor and examples. So that stuck to me, and that thought, I said, Master, I could see that. But you have realized into the same body and the mind. So it inspires me, it motivates me that I can also realize into the same body and the mind. As far as the body and the mind are not different. He said, yes, you are right. That is what we have been talking. That is why we have to talk a lot. So I told you a couple of times that one talk I heard his talk for about 100 times. And I said, every time I listen, I said, Guru, you are with me here and now. Why? Because consciousness is everywhere. You are here with me. Because I have passed through the experience of living with him at the physical level. So hence they appear. But now they don't disturb me. I have a clear vision. Oh, my Guru is here, guiding me. So that is what our 30th verse, eternal connection between a seeker and the Supreme Consciousness.
So now the reality is that you're with yourself. Like your guru is there with you, but it's you as your guru. Is that fair?
Yeah. But that you is not your physical being, your mental being, your false I, your individual being. It is the same one consciousness. It is the same one consciousness. You cannot say that, oh, I am an individual separate from you and here I see the Guru. No. So that, but why it happens, you rely more and more. That is known as the fade. We need a fade. In the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, we need a knowledge of the carrier. For you, that carrier is known as the Guru. But Guru, all I have told you, Guru simply means moving from the ignorance to the knowledge. Moving from that is the Guru. But what is the knowledge? That is consciousness. What is that consciousness? It is the existence, consciousness, bliss. What we are learning, this is what we are learning. Try to understand it. That is what we are trying to understand. To the 30th verse, to establish an unbreakable spiritual bond. You make a unbreakable spiritual bond with the Guru that you have learned. It happens naturally. The way it happens naturally, that you are a man, you need not to think about it. It happens naturally. You need not work on it. Why? Because the master gave me a principle to prove it and realize in my life, the way the mathematics teacher gives you a problem. What is the problem? And the solution is contained in it. What is the problem and solution? How can you say that? Sum of three angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Did you understand it? Yes, I understand it. Prove it. So you have a problem and you also have a solution. Is already there. So it cannot be 185. It cannot be 170. Take a simple example. 10 upon 15, 25. Prove it. So now think of it. Use the intellect or think of it. So I have 10 $1 note here. I have $1 15 times. Let me count it. So it comes to 25. The whole process. So that is the process of recognition and realization of the real self. You are the real self. We have already told you. The real self is all pervading. It is pure consciousness. It is of the nature of happiness. So you have to prove it. You have to prove it in your life that that happiness never fades away. That bliss is always there. But what about when I have a pain in the body? Are you talking of that you are the body? Become aware. You are not the body. But the pain will subside. Yes, it will minimize. The pain will remain there. That you have to take care of at the physical level. But suffering is gone. So you establish an unbreakable spiritual bond. People don't understand. So every seeker who has reached to that, my master always used to talk about his guru. He said, I don't know any God in Supreme Consciousness. I know only Guru. My Guru. My Guru. My Guru. That my Guru is basically an epitome of the knowledge, of epitome of the consciousness. To establish a permanent connection of this mind, which is looking at the reflected light outside. Now the mind is looking at the sun. From where the light is coming, let me look at it. Now I have understood. I don't have any light. I cannot function without you. So I am you. Yes, Master says good. So that is the meaning of by seeing the divine or consciousness everywhere through constant awareness, by recognizing that presence in everything. You experience that presence. It's a very solid presence. Why I don't experience? Because I have a presence. I experience the presence at the level of my ignorance. Delusion, attachment, likes and dislikes. And then the master goes to the 31st verse. In the 31st verse, he says such a beautiful thing. That is what I have already summarized. He says that you have recognized that Guru is a pure consciousness. real self is a pure consciousness, so that guru is you and you are the guru, yes. Unity. That unity is understood at the intellectual level, but it has to be recognized and realized, but has to be realized by the mind. And that is why the mind has to do the repeat listening and learning. Don't break up the practice of meditation. Contemplate and reflect so that your mind rise into consciousness, not fall into the consciousness, and you realize it. What happens? It happens like this. When you reach to that state, you are still sleeping, you are still dreaming, and you are still return to the waking state, move to the dream state, but there is a 100% recognition that these three states are not me. I am one unitary consciousness. That is one state of recognition and understanding. But for the non-realized, they say I am waker, I am sleeper, and I am. That is the only difference. But one difference makes the hell of a difference. That is, now see, when we talk about the reincarnation, that reincarnation or avatar is already aware of this state since the birth. That is the difference. That is Krishna, that is Shiva. And that is why we are Girish and you are Ed. That is the difference. It makes very easy to understand, Yes, it makes sense to me. So he is born with the body, the mind, with wisdom. I am born with ignorance. I have to remove the ignorance. So then what happens? Then you and Krishna is one. Why? There is only one reality. There is only one reality. There is no two. The moment you say that there are two, yes, but at the physical level, at the mental level, at the transactional reality, the ego should not come into the picture so that, yes, you are my guru, but yes, with clarity, with a faith. So I continue to remove that dualistic perception in my life. What happens then is the 32nd verse. What happens? I may talk of intellectual equanimity. We say unity in diversity, equality in employment. We talk a lot of stuff in US at different places. Black and white are essentially the same human being. We talk a lot about it. But as long as we recognize there is a black and there is a white, the duality will continue. I have to recognize at the level of the consciousness. I have to recognize within me. What I have to recognize that I am not the wave, I am not the person with the name and the form. That is only transactional. Then all this comes to an end, this black movement and white movement and supremacy, all this will come to an end. But we carry forward that ignorance. I don't want to say a lot of things about this. No, there is no fear, but there is no use. Why I said so? So when you look at the honey, you don't see any difference. When you look at your kids, you don't see any difference. That is the point. When you look at your employer, you don't see any difference. When you look at your employees, you don't see any difference. That equanimity we are talking about. We are not talking about unity and diversity, equality. We are the leader of the freedom. We are the leader of the free movement. equal vision. Equal vision. Vision means third eye here. Equal vision towards all experiences. What is this? What you're talking about, Krishna? Krishna is our teacher here in Gita. So the answer comes, it is the supreme state. Come on, it is you are already settled into the supreme state. You have a perfect equanimity, you have a perfect empathy, you are full of compassion. That compassion never leaves you. Now never leaves you. The way the manhood never leaves you, unconsciously, subconsciously trained. Now you have reached to that state, it doesn't leave you. What is it? This is the highest state of meditation. Do you recognize an experience? Yes, you recognize an experience. When? All the time. Why all the time? Because you don't see there is any difference of time. Time cannot be divided. Time is one whole. When? Where? In all the locations, because there is one supreme consciousness which is all pervading. So you don't talk about the locations. So that experience continues to live in you. And that helps you. That is what there are a lot of changes that takes place, because I don't want to talk about that. It takes you in a wrong direction. Wrong direction means that it builds up the ignorance. Can you read the thoughts of others? Yes, you can read the thoughts of others. Easy, very easy. It happens naturally. But if you bring your false eye onto that, you have left it. You have left the journey. Because the false eye has taken over. There are a lot of other stuff that happens in your life. And you continue. You live your life into that state of the consciousness. You allow the nature to play its part. What is the nature? Real life example. I had the cataract. I just got the surgery done. That's why I'm not wearing the glasses.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I thought you were just getting younger.
yeah. And so, while on the right side of the cataract, when I reached to that operation theater, and the 3 and 4, these nurses and the medical assistant were upset, because they look at my beard and they said he might be, because you sometimes you overlook the age, and then he has all white hair, so they were anxious. So I said, you have to answer one question before you take care of me. I said, what is the question? I said, do you have any machine which is 20 or 30 years old in your house? Oh, there is none. I said, this is 66-year-old machine. This is 66-year-old machine. This is running fine at this moment. So they understood after a minute, and they started laughing, and the thing became easy. And then the doctor said that you are okay. Yes, I'm okay. So can we start? I said yes, okay. In the left eye, I was totally unconscious for 15-20 minutes and half an hour. But for the right eye, he said in 10 minutes it's done. I said I didn't notice it. It is done. I was fully conscious. But the left eye. So the nature plays its role. He lives in Gilbert, he's a wonderful guy. So nature has to play its part. You have to continue to follow the nature, but behind that nature, you recognize the. So now we have to understand in a one more way. So, first way in these four verses that you are progressing into the knowledge of the real self by dropping at the subtler layers of the ignorance, the macro and the micro, and then you recognize the weight does not increase or decrease even if you have hundreds of waves and the amount of the water remains the same, or the same thing with the gold. What it means, it simply means there are two waves here. There may be 10 waves, but there is something which holds on that does not change. So that knowledge is what Krishna, our master, is talking about. But while understanding and recognizing that knowledge, the mind dies its own death. What the mind does, no, we both are separate. Another thing, you see that once you have a fade, you move with the love, unconditional love, you remember everything what the master teaches you. It has gone back. Okay, so he says mano nasha. It is the death of the mind. It's a natural death of the mind. We try to control the mind, we try to destroy. No, you awaken to the knowledge. You switch on the light, the darkness will go by itself. That is the message in this verse, in these four verses. Another thing that takes place, that all of our past impressions starts dissolving, destroying, removing. You start destroying the earlier conditioning, even with your relations, events. Why? What happens then? You no longer remain a sinner. Because if your mind reminds you that I have done this and that's why I'm so much frustrated and failed in my life, there is no failure. There is only a lesson learned in this journey of life. No failure. No failure at all. Why? I'm finding that real self of the nature of peace and happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So what happens? So we get absorbed into the meditation. I explained you Om Namah Shivaya. It's a non-verbal awareness. So Om Namah Shivaya as an object still remains. It is not an object with the name in the form. But still, even though it is a higher state of meditation, it is a self-absorption. It also gives you a glimpse of choiceless awareness, but still it is one step below. And the last step comes, then you don't recognize whether it's a Shiva or a Krishna or a Guru or Eric or anyone. It is one unitary consciousness. It is one. That is what the master is pointing out in the 31st verse. So that is one way. But how to do it? Don't leave the liberate model should work in your life all the time. At a very surface level, liberate model. Liberate. Normally, because of those past impressions and because of what we have done in the past, good and bad, they return. So you start to live, you recognize that I'm of the nature of the real self, you investigate the false superimposition, you break the delusion and you eradicate that delusion, LIBE, and then you recognize that calmness within you. So that relaxation, calmness, and the joy has to be recognized and realized in almost every situation. You are teaching, you are doing your work, you are driving. There is just I am Yeah, I'm just trying to rephrase it. Out of the happiness I am driving. I'm not driving for happiness. It will result into excitement. Let me speed up. Because I'm happy, hence I'm driving. I'm happy, that's why I'm communicating to you. Money is secondary. I'm happy. You are my honey because, so you have to, not for. That is what has to be recognized in all the situation, events, and relationship. I'm happy, hence I'm talking to you. I am in love. Love is within me, hence I express that love to you in relationship. That becomes compassion. So this liberate principle works as a practice, as a tool, as a very strong tool to live your life. You look at your honey and mind has already retrieves the past impression. Yesterday you did wrong thing and the mind wants to press upon it, and suddenly you remember this and you say, okay, leave it, now I'm clear, now I'm happy, now let me say it. Let me say it. But when I say it, I don't enter into any argument. I say it, and the moment I see the other guy is not understanding, you retrieve yourself. Oh, that's okay, let us talk some other time. Let us have a cup of tea and coffee. Why? Because I want to first reach to that higher state. Once I reach to the higher state, then we will see what happens. What happens? Not now. So in the next 5 or 6 verses, the Arjuna, the seeker, is asking a question on our behalf. Then we will take up those questions, but we should keep that knowledge in our understanding, matter and the consciousness. This is what Krishna says. Now the beauty of the Krishna says that this is what our great masters have taught us. He also doesn't own any responsibility that I have created. He says no. But when he says I have taught great masters, it means it's a revelation. Krishna is talking about a revelation. Our mind, we are struggling with 3 aspects. In one text, it is said nature, man, and the God. That is, from there they start explaining. In other master, he refines it. He says universal consciousness, that is matter. Individual consciousness, we treat ourselves as an individual, and the supreme consciousness, we say it is God. Why I'm laying this? Because it will help you to go deeper. So there are many names of that. We also say, have you seen the picture of the Shiva where the half right side is the image of the Shiva and the half left side is the image of his wife Parvati or Shakti? So I'm just bringing a lot of stuff, but focused on these 3 aspects. So there is a universal consciousness and there is a universal prakriti, and that is matter. And then there is the individual consciousness, and then there is the supreme consciousness. I have to see the relationship of the three. Whatever we know in the world outside, or whatever we have yet to know. You might be thinking that, I criticize Elon Musk, but I also appreciate him. Recently, he developed an aircraft which defies the laws of physics. $17 billion aircraft. And I could now see that, when you reach to the very subtler level of an intellect, you continue to live into that. You continue to live in the state of compassion, love, kindness. But when you move up and down, why I said so, he put the ammunitions in that aircraft which will not kill the opposite armies. It will give a shock. It will make them unconscious for an hour. And that aircraft will achieve an objective, and within 10 to 15 minutes it returns. And after an hour, those people will not die. It will become a reality, no doubt. But he is the guy. He's the guy, he did it. So when you defy the law of physics, you defy the laws governing the body and the mind to transcend. That is why we use the word transcending the mind. That is why we use the word transcending the body and the mind. But our main question is nature, God, and the man, whatever we say, the supreme consciousness, universal consciousness, which is matter, is constantly changing. I'm just explaining out of fun also, but out of getting the right knowledge, so that you are very clear about these concepts, and then we will take up what Arjuna asked, the question. They are very deeper and subtle. So the supreme consciousness, or we say the real self, or the supreme consciousness, is not changing, eternal, all-pervading, beyond the time, cannot be objectified. Opposite is the universal consciousness. It is constantly changing, it is limited, it is heavily conditioned. We as an individual make the bridge. We have a becoming process, we have a being. And that being is the supreme consciousness. When it is individualized, it is real self. Otherwise, God is the same here, sitting here. That's why we say the God is sitting in your heart. So we say that supreme consciousness is individualized by the universal consciousness, hence I am an individual. That individual has two parts. I gave reference to you, human being, human plus being. Human part is the universal, the matter part. Being is the supreme. It is always there. It is always living. What is this human part or universal prakriti matter? It is made up of 8 elements, 5 elements plus mind, intellect, and ego. Mind, intellect, and ego plus 5 elements, it forms the entire playground of the universe of billions of species, billions and billions of species. The last thing that is very interesting and important to understand in our life, that laws of physics is already present. My mind, my intellect has understood this is the law of physics and this is the way to defy, go beyond this law of physics. That is the journey of this self-discovery. I know the limitations of my mind, and now I know how to transcend the mind. So when I have a right knowledge, ignorance is not there, the delusion is not there, I can transcend the mind anytime, anywhere. No, how can you say that those laws are always present, look at this, that we earn money and we get married, we have kids, and then we plan that we will keep about $100,000 for the education of my kids. Any knowledge that is outside is always present in one or the more species. Because we are given the intellect, a free will, we have all that knowledge and we use that knowledge which is already available. How can you say that? I gave you an example. I was looking yesterday, and because I know the Eastern wisdom, so I was laughing simply that you look at it that this is also possible with the animal. There is a wasp found in temperate climate. That wasp goes on a prey. First it attacks it attacks a cockroach, which is 10 times heavier than the wasp. It attacks its front legs, which is paralyzed. Now it becomes difficult for the cockroach he's not eating it. We always think that impulsive nature, animal instinct, they have to catch prey or they fight for mating. That intelligence is always available. It's not a big deal. Then this wasp attacks the brain of a cockroach. Paralyzes. Now with a great difficulty he pulls the cockroach and puts into its den. Then it covers with lot of woods so that cockroach is still alive, paralyzed. Now it cuts a little bit of his belly. It was shown in the film. There she lays her eggs. And the egg feeds on the cockroach. He is not eating the cockroach. That is the power of consciousness. It can work anywhere, anytime. We are given the power of the intellect to fathom, to discover, to find that consciousness. Consciousness is the same. Oh, what a great, I was laughing. I said, okay, this is what it is.